I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier, and before we get started on the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show, and once you're good and educated about the show, then you click on that merchandise tab. It's going to take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all of our different special event logo t-shirts, and so much more. All the gimmicks you've come to know and love from the Renegades of Puck are all still available in the store. Socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets, and of course, about 55 other items. We call them gimmicks, and we've sold out so that you can buy in. We sure would appreciate each and every one of you picking up some merchandise, and we sure do appreciate those of you who recently picked up some merchandise. Social media is of how you can help this hockey operation out. We are independent, so it is of critical importance that you do give us a little bit of assistance right there. It doesn't take you but a second, doesn't cost you a thing, and here's how you can help us out. On social media, you can find us on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and also on TikTok. You can find us on Twitch live streaming. You can also find us on YouTube, and thank you so much to everyone who has recently subscribed to our YouTube channel. We are doing great work over there, and we sure do appreciate each and every one of you. The audio podcast can be found on numerous platforms. Search Renegades of Puck on your preferred platform. A couple of examples: Amazon, Google, Spotify, Stitcher. All of those are available for you and completely for free. So again, we'd appreciate any support on any or all of those platforms. Venmo is how you can become a partner of the Renegades of Puck. Just go to Venmo and search Renegades of Puck or scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. Thanks to generous Renegades just like you, we've been able to make significant upgrades here around the show, around the bunker, and we are now working on some plans coming up here in the playoff season. So we sure would appreciate any donations. Even $1 goes a long way to helping this independent hockey operation. Stick taps, love, and respect. Thank you so much for your generosity. It's how we keep things moving right along. Don't forget, Home Base Freakout, less than 3 weeks away, coming up. Tailgate Brewery Music Row. We're opening the doors, all ages, no cover. Come on and celebrate our great hockey community with us. It's Home Base Freakout 2 at Tailgate Brewery. We cannot wait to see each and every one of you out there. I'm starting to hear back from some of the guests that I'm inviting. We'll be releasing those names and that information as we go along, but I can tell you that the television play-by-play voice of the Nashville Predators, he will be in attendance for sure, stopping by, and I think all of you know who that is. We'll make official announcements, though, coming up in all the proper ways coming up soon. So Home Base Freakout 2, make sure you're coming to check it out. We'll have giveaways, we'll have prizes, we'll have fun, we'll have all kinds of things. We're going to have a brand new Renegades of Puck beer on tap. We're going to have frozen drink specials, and you know Tailgate Brewery, they know how to throw a party, they know how to do it up, and the Renegades of Puck absolutely know how to throw a party as well. So I hope to see each and every one of you out there. It is a great opportunity for us all to get together and have a great night of fun. Now, I know it's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 726 for the Renegades of Puck. That's right, show number 726. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 5th place in the Central Division. They've skated in 62 games this season. That is 3 games less than the Winnipeg Jets, who are just ahead of them in the playoffs. I'll get to why that is of critical importance here in just a second. 31-24-7 is the Nashville Predators' overall record. They have 69 points on the season. On the road, their record is 15-13-4, and they will continue on the road for 2 more games on this nightmarishly long road trip. Goals for in the season, 179. Goals against, 184. That's a goal differential of -5. Now, in the Central Division, starting at the top and working our way down, the Dallas Stars continue to be in first place with 83 points. The Minnesota Wild have 81 points. They've played the same amount of games. Colorado Avalanche are in third place with 76 points. They are 7 points currently ahead of the Nashville Predators. Now, why is that spot particularly important? Because that is the third and final automatic qualifying playoff spot for the Central Division. The Winnipeg Jets are in 4th place with 75 points. They are 6 points currently ahead of the Nashville Predators. But I mentioned 3 games more played than the Nashville Predators. That means the 6-point differential plus the head-to-head matchup coming up here very shortly could work out very much in the Nashville Predators' favor. Below the Nashville Predators in 6th place, the St. Louis Blues at 61 points, then Arizona at 56, and Chicago at 49. Now, for the Nashville Predators, it's a back-to-back scenario. LA is this most current game that we're breaking down, previewing, and talking about, but they'll have to turn around and quickly head off to Anaheim to take on the Ducks. So a back-to-back to wrap up this lengthy road trip on the West Coast. After that, the Nashville Predators will be back home, and on Tuesday they will face off against Detroit. On Thursday they'll face off against Chicago. On the 18th, Winnipeg is in town at Bridgestone Arena. That game is going to be of significant and critical importance between the Nashville Predators and the Central Division playoff race. And on the 19th of March, the Preds are back on the road, Madison Square Garden in New York City, to face off against the New York Rangers. Now, for the Nashville Predators, their next opponent is the LA Kings. They have an overall record of 38-20 and 84 points, has them second in the Pacific Division, tied in points with the first place Las Vegas Golden Knights, but due to tiebreakers, Kings currently sit in second on home ice. Very good record of 20 wins, 9 losses, and 2 overtime shootout losses. And we have a goal differential of +8. In their most recent stretch of hockey, well, it's a whole lot of W's in the last 5. 228-6-5 shootout win at the Winnipeg Jets. They followed that up starting the month of March on the 2nd with a 3-2 win versus the Montreal Canadiens. On the 4th of March, a 4-2 win versus the St. Louis Blues. On the 6th of March, a 4-2 win versus Washington. And most recently, a 5-2 win at the Colorado Avalanche. So they've won 5 games in a row, and they've given up 2 goals 4 games in a row. And they have played some pretty significant competition along the way as well. For the Nashville Predators and the LA Kings, it's the third and final season meeting between these Western Conference rivals. Go all the way back to October the 18th when these two teams met for the first time. It was LA scoring the 4-3 victory in the shootout. Forsberg, Glass, and Jeannot scoring the goals for the Nashville Predators. Roy had 2 goals for the Kings. Also, Velarde added a goal in that game. UC Saros took the loss 32 out of 35. The teams would meet again on the 21st of January. It would be the Nashville Predators scoring a 5-3 victory again at Bridgestone Arena. Matt Duchene, 2 goals in that game. Roger Hansen, goal and assist. UC Saros picked up the victory this time, 31 out of 34. Now, injuries will play a significant role for the Nashville Predators. Philip Forsberg has been listed as day-to-day ever since he was first injured. We are now nearing a month with him being out of the lineup. He is on the road trip, and there is always the possibility when he's listed as day-to-day that he could get back in, but I do not anticipate and I'm not planning to see Philip Forsberg in the lineup this upcoming weekend. Parsonen also still listed as day-to-day. Carrier out 3 to 5 weeks. Johansson out 3 months after having his surgery. Now, taking a look inside the rankings and numbers in the matchups between the Nashville Predators and the LA Kings, and we have plenty of sample size for the season at this point in time. Goals for the LA Kings are 11th best in the NHL, 3.35 per game, while the Nashville Predators are 25th best in the NHL, 2.84 per game. In the goals against category, the Nashville Predators ahead of the LA Kings in this metric, 12th best in the league, giving up 2.94 per game, while LA is giving up 3.30 goals per game. That is 22nd in the NHL. In the shots for category, LA leads in this metric, 32.4 per game on net. That is 11th best in the NHL, while the Predators are only generating 30.6 shots on net per game. That is 20th in the league. In the shots against category, LA, impressive 5th overall rating in the NHL, only giving up 28.2 shots per game against, while the Nashville Predators are giving up a massive 33.6 per game. That's 26th overall in the NHL. When it comes to special teams, it is the power play of the LA Kings that is significantly better than the Nashville Predators. 6th best in the league, 24.2% conversion rate. That means nearly 1 out of every 4 opportunities, or 54 out of 223 times on the season they've been on the power play, they have converted. Now, the Predators' power play, not quite as impressive. 25th in the NHL, only converting at 18.5% and really letting the team down as of late. When it comes to the penalty kill, the Nashville Predators ahead of the Kings in this particular metric. 81.3% is their kill rate, 11th overall in the league. The Preds have given up 39 power play goals against on the season. The LA Kings have given up 54 power play goals against on the season and have the 23rd rated penalty kill in the entire NHL with a 75.9% kill rate. When it comes to every team in the NHL, everyone has high-scoring individual and high-skilled players. We talk about the top 5 individual scorers for each team and the goaltending matchup that we expect to see in the next game. Let's start with the home team, Los Angeles Kings, and some of these names are going to seem very familiar to Nashville Predators fans for multiple reasons, because they played for your team or because they have been constantly killing your team their entire career. Kevin Fiala, of course, former Nashville Predator, 22 goals, 46 assists, 68 points on the season, leads the LA Kings in scoring. Anze Kopitar has always had great success against the Nashville Predators, having a good season again. 25 goals, 36 assists, 61 points. That's second best on the Kings. Kempe, new in the league, or at least recently new in the league, but still having success against the Nashville Predators already. 32 goals in the season. That leads the Kings. 19 assists to add to that for 51 points. Dano at 18 and 28 for 46. And Victor Arvidsson, 18 goals, 26 assists for 44 points on the season. Copley, a record of 24 and 2, 8.99 save percentage, 2.76 goals against average. Nashville Predators, LA Kings wrap up their regular season matchup, each team securing a victory in the first 2 meetings of the season. Preds, first time and only time going off to LA this year. Kings fighting for first. Preds fighting for a rebuild. We'll see how things shake out in the first night of back-to-backs, but that has you all set up for the Nashville Predators and the LA Kings in their next game. Now, it's time to go back and take a look at the previous game. It was in Arizona. We call it the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap, and it's coming up next.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. We go all the way back to March 9th of the year 2023 when the Nashville Predators were in Arizona to close out the regular season series against the Coyotes. John Hines deploys his lines in the following way: Leonard, Glass, and Duchesne, Sherwood, Novak, and Evangelista, Asplund, Sissons, and Tomasino back in the lineup back from injury. Trennan, McCarron, and Smith make up your fourth line. Your defensive pairings are the following: Yossi and Fabro, McDonough and Barry, Luzon and Foote. UC Saros gets the start in net. We are just 26 seconds into the game, and Schmaltz is off the box. 2 minutes for holding. That's when Prosvetov is coming up with a save on Luke Evangelista, and then Prosvetov is coming up with a save on Tommy Novak. By the way, Prosvetov just called up, getting his first and emergency start for the Arizona Coyotes. 2:58 into the first period, Saros comes up with a save on Mackey, plus the rebound by Soderstrom. First shots on goal for the Coyotes against UC Saros. 4:18 of the first period, Dolphins off the box. 2 minutes for holding on Philip Tomasino. Glass is then off the box. 2 minutes for slashing. We get a 4-on-4 for 1 minute and 3 seconds. Saros has to come up with a save on Keller's one-timer at 8:48. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. We see Ritchie breaking the game open with the first goal. His 7th of the season comes as a deflection at the top of the crease. The Arizona Coyotes find themselves on top 1-0 here in the first period. 12:45 into the first, Saros comes up with a save on McBain. 13:10. Saros the save on Keller. 13:24. Saros another save, this time on Schmaltz. That line buzzing early at the 13:53 mark of the first period. Smith is off the box. 2 minutes for slashing. Saros has to come up with a big save on Soderstrom at 18:40. Saros comes up with a save on Dolphin, and then at 19:21, Prosvetov comes up with a save on Foote, plus the rebound scramble. The Arizona Coyotes end up out shooting the Nashville Predators 18-9 in the first period. Prosvetov comes up with a save on Glass at close range at the 57-second mark of the second period. At 1:43 of the second, McBain's off the box. 2 minutes for holding on Philip Tomasino. Prosvetov comes up with a save on the captain, Roman Yossi, at 4:12 of the second, though. This is where the Nashville Predators netminder UC Saros goes to work. UC Saros comes with a save on Dolphins backhanded close range. 5:40, a save on Keller. 5:46, a save on Brown. And then the momentum shifts going back the other way. 6:35, Prosvetov comes up with a save on Yossi's long shot. 7:47, Prosvetov, a save on Luke Evangelista. 10:25, we shift back down the other end of the ice, and UC Saros coming with a save on Keller, plus the follow-up jam by Schmaltz. 14:22, Saros, a save on Schmaltz, plus Hayden's rebound attempt. At 16:01 of the second period, period. McCarron and O'Brien have a quick but useful scrap, 5 minutes each for them off to the box. McCarron clearly trying to get his team fired up, motioning towards the bench to get the team going, as the Nashville Predators so far through the entirety of this game have been incredibly flat. After that, though, 17-17, Saros comes with a save on Soderstrom. 17-32, Prosvetov comes up with a save on McDonough's partial breakaway, plus Sherwood's rebound attempt at 19:07. Saros comes with a save on McBain. 19:36, Mackey off the box. 2 minutes for holding. Nashville Predators power play is going to get another opportunity, but that's going to carry over to the clean sheet in the third period for 1 minute and 36 seconds. At the end of the second period, still a 1-0 game in favor of Arizona. The Coyotes out shooting the Nashville Predators 31-22. On the carryover of that 136 into the third period, the Nashville Predators would accomplish very little, if anything at all. At 1:48 of the third period, Prosvetov comes up with a save on McDonough, and then 3:50 into the third period, Saros comes up with a save on Krause from the slot. 5:17, Saros comes up with a save on Boyd with the mask. 5:21, Mackey off to the box. 2 minutes for Puck over the glass. Nashville Predators power play gets yet another opportunity in this game, but Prosvetov comes up with a save on glass plus the rebound jam, and then Yakov Trenin is off to the box. 2 minutes for Puck over the glass. Boyd, though, would pick up a penalty immediately on the face-off. 2 minutes for holding the stick. So a 4-on-4 for the next minute and 56 seconds. Prosvetov comes with a save on Duchesne. Saros comes up with a save on Keller to match just seconds later. We go to the back of the sheet. 9:54 of the third period. Saros comes with a save on Krause off of the rush at 10:14. Glass off to the box. 2 minutes for cross-checking, and this time the Arizona Coyotes are breaking through. The Nashville Predators penalty kill has been incredible on this road trip, but this time they cannot hold. Hayton's 11th goal of the season comes with some rebound jam at the top of the crease, giving the Arizona Coyotes a 2-0 lead, followed up very quickly at 12:30 by McBain's 10th goal of the season. It was an easy rebound put back. 40th shot on goal for the Arizona Coyotes. That's right, the 40th shot on goal. The Arizona Coyotes now lead 3-0 here in the third period. At the 18-minute mark of the third period, Glass would break the shutout, giving the Nashville Predators a goal in this game. His 9th of the season would also be a rebound putback of Luke Evangelista's shot. It did come in the 6-on-5 scenario with the empty net and UC Saros on the bench. So Arizona leads 3-1, 2 minutes to go in this game. 19-23, continue on with the 6-on-5. Schmaltz gets his 21st goal of the season, goes into the empty net, giving Arizona the 4-1 lead, and that would be your final score in this game. Arizona outshoots the Nashville Predators 43-40 in this game. And for the Nashville Predators, down by a goal for the majority of this game, a squandered opportunity, simply did not have the energy, did not have the jump, did not have, frankly, anything in this game. A very puzzling game. There was not seeming to be the energy. There was not seeming to be any crispness. There was not seeming to be an ability to basically perform as a professional hockey club on this particular night. Now, it's an anomaly compared to what the team has been doing on this road trip to this point, but still highly disappointing for the Nashville Predators to go into Arizona, the 7th place team in the Central Division, a team that they had just visited recently and beaten handily in Arizona, and come away with such a flat overall performance in the desert. So the Nashville Predators fall 4-1 in this game. That's the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We've got full analysis coming up next. We've got Sean C. Smith. We've got Brian Bass. The Renegades of Puck are in the trenches, and we've got so much more coming up right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast. We'll be right back.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
UC Saros was 39 out of 42 in this game. And you know what? He kept the Preds in this game until pretty late into the third period. The Preds were flat in front of UC Saros all night long. I felt that UC Saros did the best that he could to keep the Preds in this game, but at the end of the night, there was very little he could do. The Nashville Predators do fall 4-1. 3 goals go against UC Saros, 1 against the empty net. And again, this is one of those nights where it's hard to critique the goaltender when the team in front of him was lacking in so many different ways. Let's talk about a couple of different things in this game. Let's talk about Glass scoring the only goal for the Nashville Predators, also generating 6 shots on net. That's impressive right there. That would lead the forwards in shots on goal. And again, the only goal of the game. Going to the hard area, scoring a greasy goal, and working all the way to the end of the game. With only 2 minutes to go in this game, would have been easy for the Nashville Predators to give up. Glass proving that he is continuing his development, his consistency. Love to see it. He gets the only goal in this game for the Nashville Predators. Luke Evangelista picks up an assist. I thought he was highly noticeable yet again in this game. Impactful. Noticeable and impactful. Those are the 2 words to use for him. He also generated 20 minutes and 27 seconds of time on ice in this game. That is highly significant. That's a huge number for such a young player coming up and getting this opportunity. It shows you he's already earned the trust of the coaching staff that exists as it is at this particular moment. But Luke Evangelista picks up an assist in this game, picks up another point, 20-27 in total time on ice. The captain, Romiosi, 7 shots on goal. That leads the Nashville Predators in total, and also 30-17 in time on ice. The captain skated 30 minutes and 17 seconds of time on ice. He skated more than half of this game, and at one point in this game, a 5-minute shift trying to get the Predators back into it. Just wanted to make sure I pointed out the level of effort that the captain went to tonight to try to keep the Predators in this one and get them back in it at the end. Wanted to bring up McCarron's fight. He couldn't wake up the bench. He was trying. He sensed that his team was flat, that there was simply no energy, and recognized that one of the ways to get your team fired up is to have one of those good old scraps, and he did have a quick, good scrap right there, but off to the box. But as soon as they went off to the box, the energy seemed to recede right back to where it was before the fight, and McCarron's was unfortunately not able to wake the Preds bench up the way he had hoped to with his physical play. But it's still good to see McCarron back out there. Good to see him on the fourth line. He also delivered 5 hits as well as having that fighting major in this game. So he was definitely trying to influence and impact the game, just not quite able to do so from his fourth line center position. And it's the power play, just absolutely abysmal. The energy level was as low as it's been at any point that I can remember this season. And the question is, it's simple, and this goes back quite a long way with the Predators' history with the Arizona Coyotes. And many of you go back that far in the history, and many of you will get this inside reference and joke. Did the entire team head off to that Cougar bar with Radeloff and the Koistitsins last night on their day off? The team just looked like they were lacking energy. I don't know if they thought maybe the Arizona Coyotes are a 7th place team and they've traded away some of their best assets and we'll walk in there and take care of it just like we did the last time. I mean, the Arizona Coyotes have scored 2 victories against the Predators this season. So the Coyotes did a perfectly good job of competing against the Nashville Predators even from below them in the standings. I don't know if the Preds took them light. I don't know if the Preds were ill prepared. I don't know exactly what happened. But this is one of those games in the schedule that you can look at and say they were absolutely flat. They never had a chance to win this game. And when you have so many power play opportunities against the goaltender getting an emergency call-up, and I know you Preds fans who go back the longest ways about this, you say, you knew what was going to happen as soon as you saw there was a call-up in this game starting in net for the Coyotes. He was going to make around 40 saves, and he was probably going to get a shutout. And that's almost what happened tonight. So for the Nashville Predators, no energy, abysmal power play, and an inability to get themselves fired up and going during this game. That's why they find themselves losing 4-1. A huge back-to-back coming up in California now. It's going to be the LA Kings and then the Anaheim Ducks. That's going to do it for my portion of the analysis, but the Renegades of Puck are here, and they have filed their reports. So let's start with Sean C. Smith. He's jumping in the trenches right here from A to Z Sports. You can find him on Twitter at SCSNSH. I'm going to sit back and listen to Sean's report right now. Sean, show's all yours.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades, it's Sean Smith. And let's talk a little bit about the Predators' loss to the Arizona Coyotes. I'm not going to break down plays. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but I am going to say this. It's expected that this Predators team is going to lose a lot of games between now and the end of the season. I think while they still have a better chance of making the playoffs than they do of getting the number 1 overall draft pick in the draft coming up, I still think it's important to be aware that this team is going to lose some games. They're getting ready to play a pretty tough slate of games against a lot of top-rated teams. And it's not expected that they're going to be able to win a lot, all, or even most of them. There's probably a chance they'll lose a lot of them. However, the Predators were up against a team that's not very good at all tonight, and they did not get the job done. In fact, it looked pretty rough. Again, not going to go into a lot of detail here. But the fact of the matter is this. Been doing a lot of polls on the Twitter, finding out from fans what they think. And just very briefly, I'll have a bigger article coming out about this over at A to Z Sports pretty quickly here. But here's the thing. Preds fans are happy with the direction the team is headed in. They think they're going in the right direction, although they think that the biggest move they need to make next is to replace the head coach. They want a new head coach. They want Barry Trotz to be able to pick his own head coach. Now, my question was, what was some of the concern with the current coach? And it's not emotional here. It's just what were the issues? And a lot of people pretty torn between the way the lineups are being put out night by night and, of course, the way developing young players is being handled. Now, Trotz said very clearly that he would be evaluating the coaching staff and the team throughout the rest of the season. And it's not in these games against these upcoming big teams that are powerful, playoff-bound, cup favorite teams that he's going to judge them on. I think it's how they're going to be playing against teams that they should be able to beat. Now, the Predators should be able to beat quite a few teams, but there's some teams they should definitely be able to beat, and the Arizona Coyotes are one of those teams. So I think when you think about what Trotz is looking at, he's going to look at games like tonight to make his decision about whether or not this team moving forward is going to be under, the watch of John Hines. So I think more games like this, it's not a good sign for John Hines. Now, if the team can turn it around and start winning and knocking off some of these teams that they should be able to blow past pretty easily, even with a depleted roster, they do have a lot of young talent, but they are missing a couple of guys, but they should be able to get the job done against the Arizona Coyotes. And they barely were able to get one goal. They had to do it with the empty net. And overall, not a promising performance tonight. Now, you could just say there's something about playing against Arizona. It happens. It's been a recurring theme over the past several years, but the cold hard reality is you're going to have to beat the teams that you should be able to beat if you want to make a case for hanging on to that head coaching spot. I know that's probably what a lot of people out there in Renegades of Puck land, and of course Twitter as well, and probably even Facebook want to hear, but that's me saying that if you want to see John Hines as the head coach next season, you're going to have to see him and his team win some of these games coming up against teams like Arizona. If they're not able to do that, I don't think it's a very promising offseason for John Hines. Charlie, that's all I got. I'm going to send it back over to you.
The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. When it comes to the box score, there's really not a lot to talk about, but let's go ahead and run through the numbers. Anyway, Glass is your only goal scorer for the Nashville Predators in this game when it comes to assists. Duchesne and Evangelista both with assists in this game. When it comes to shots on goal, the captain Romaniosi led the team with 7. Glass was second on the team with 6. Impressive number there by Glass. When it comes to block shots, 2 was the high in this game considering how many shots on goal the Arizona Coyotes had. It would be a surprise that more shots weren't blocked. Novak and McDonough, each with 2 in this game. When it comes to the physical play, when it comes to hits, it was in fact McCarron leading the Nashville Predators with 5 hits in this game, but Luzon right there with 4 hits in this game. And when he gets involved in the physical play, he is particularly vicious. He walks it right up to that line on some of these hits. There was a cross check in the game that I even winced a little bit and thought, I'm really surprised that didn't get called right there. But it didn't get called, which means it was a good, successful physical play by Luzon. When it comes to time on ice, I found a couple of unique things to point out here. Matt Duchesne clearly has the trust of the coaching staff as it exists today. 25-58 in total time on ice. Other forwards going over 20 minutes. Tommy Novak, 23:08. That is highly impressive. Great experience with Tommy Novak, 23:08. Glass, 21:19 in this game. And Luke Evangelista, 20:27. So to see those young forwards getting that much ice time, that is highly impressive stuff out there. The least amount of ice time skated for the Nashville Predators comes, of course, on the forward side of things, and it was Asplund with 7:09 in total time skated. Leonard, 7:25 in total time skated, and McCarron, 9:25. So the fourth line was limited to just over 7 minutes in total time played. UC Saros, 39 out of 42 in this game. He took the loss, but he kept the Nashville Predators in this, especially through a very, very heavy and intense first period. That's going to wrap up the box score, but not the end of the discussion of statistics. Time for one big stat with Brian Baston. He's got the charts you need to see and the numbers you need to know from ontheforecheck.com. He's filed this report coming up right now.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. I'm Brian Baston here at the Renegades Analytics Desk. And yes, that was a hard game to watch. The Nashville Predators fell to the Arizona Coyotes 4-1 in a game that pretty much seemed like Nashville was really never in it. And you look at some of the numbers, and that agrees with what we saw in the eye test. Defensively, one of Nashville's worst games of the season at all situations. If you wanted to look at, like, for example, they've given up that was the third most expected goals they've given up all season at 5.38. It was the 5th most shots against that they've given up. And so you realize that, like, defensively, yes, not great. However, they did give up the third most expected goals, but yet UC Saros did still have a positive goals saved over expected. But what's the point? I'm not going to come here and tell you that this team, minus Philip Forsberg and Ryan Johansson, without guys like Mikhail Granlund and Matthias Ekholm, all these people that have gone, this is a skeleton team. This is something made up of parts, scraps made from a cave, like they say in Iron Man. And so, yeah, Nashville was a little bit, well, they weren't Iron Man tonight, and it was pretty rough. But was there a silver lining to this game? Was there something about this game that made it different than just another, they got blown out and everybody was upset? I think there might have been, and that's going to be the topic of tonight's One Big Stat. Now, you can talk about luck, puck luck, all that type of thing. You see a player shoot 20% one year and then drop back down to 9%, which he averaged his whole career. You'd say, yeah, that year he got lucky. Or you could call that finishing. But one of the things that you can use, and the way that these things are set up, is look at the expected goals in a game. Now, over time, if you look at teams, with the way that these models are built is the number of expected goals should get pretty close to the number of actual goals the team scored. Now, if you start to see where a team has a lot more goals than expected goals, for example, if we want to look at, take a look at the last game against Arizona. They did very, very well, even though they had low expected goals, which doesn't, bode well for them because, they got kind of lucky or they beat a bad goaltender. But what happened tonight? Obviously, this is his first NHL game of this season. You know how Nashville's cursed by backup goalies. Well, this was a backup goalie. And so, of course, he played probably the best game in his career, one of a handful of in his career. But was Nashville all that bad offensively? Now, we've seen since these rookies came in, after the deadline, we've seen this team be a lot more loose, a lot more fun and gun, if you will. They give up a lot of defense, but they're peppering the net a whole bunch. They're getting lots of high-quality chances, and sometimes they're turning it into goals. And that was actually the case tonight. And that was the case. Nashville had the most... Nashville had the highest expected goal total that they have accrued all season. They had more expected goals in this 60-minute game loss to Arizona than any other game this season, including games that went to overtime. So how do we want to measure, and what does this have to do with luck? Well, we did say more goals than expected goals means they probably got lucky. On the other hand, if you've got a ton of expected goals and very few actual goals, well, either the goalie you're playing was playing out of his mind or you were just plain unlucky. And I'm going to say that the Predators were extremely unlucky tonight. Let's take a look at this graph here. As you can see, those ones in blue and dark blue are wins. Light blue is ties, and orange are losses. But here's the thing. Overall, what you see is that the more expected goals the team gets in all situations, the more likely it is they're going to win. In fact, tonight was the first time all season that Nashville had 4 or more expected goals in a game and lost that game. That's very, very unlucky. Now, yes, again, is it unlucky that they lost the game? Not necessarily. If you play defense like that, you're probably not going to win anyways. But this isn't what this team was unluckier than it has been all season long. It's a difference of 4.63 goals if you look at goals over expected. So they had the worst, and they should have scored 4.5 more goals, but they didn't. All they got is 1. I mean, if you look at Cody Glass did have a goal tonight, but he had 2.5 expected goals by himself, and that's a pretty huge total for a single game. So even guys like him, Luke Evangelista, they were all getting plenty of great shots. I think Natural Stat Trick said they had 19 high danger chances. They just couldn't get it past the goalie. And, you got to give it to this team. They're not going to be good defensively. When they had all the players, they had Matthias Ekholm, the team was bad defensively, so they're only going to get worse. But they were fun and exciting on offense, and tonight, well, that fun and excitement just wasn't enough. But if I'm John Hines and company, I look at this team and say, you know what? Not bad. You did everything you possibly could, and you just couldn't get it past the goaltender. Not a bad game. But I don't think not a bad game is what anybody's going to think about this game. But I wanted to give the Predators a little bit of credit, and that's tonight's one big stat.
I'm Crazy Charlie Saunier, captain of the Renegades of Puck. I'm also tired of the cold, tired of the dark, and tired of being landlocked. I'm also willing to bet that I'm not the only one who could use some sun, fun, and time in paradise with friends. That's exactly why I called our great friend Pete Weber. He told me, call Ships and Trips Travel, and now we're all going to Mexico. That's right, Renegades of Puck, July 15th to the 20th of 2023. Dreams Vallarta Resort in Puerto Vallarta is the destination to hang with Pete Weber in paradise. To join Pete and the Renegades of Puck in Puerto Vallarta, go to www.shipsandtripstravel.com. That's shipsandtripstravel.com, and just click on the ROP on vacation tab. Don't stay landlocked. Join the Renegades of Puck in paradise, July 15th to the 20th, 2023 in Puerto Vallarta. Pete Weber, the Renegades of Puck, and you. It's time to ditch those skates for flip-flops and fun in the sun. I'm Charlie Saunier from the Renegades of Puck, and this is the case for Carl, a Renegades of Puck special commentary. Now, the Nashville Predators will be hiring a new coach soon in their franchise history. There is no doubt about that. This is not a case looking backwards. This is a case looking forward. This case is for Carl Taylor to become the next head coach of the Nashville Predators. I'd like to begin with taking you back and telling you a little bit about the background of head coach of the Milwaukee Admirals, Carl Taylor. He is from North Bay, Ontario. When he was a player, he was a forward and also a defenseman at times during his playing career. He's currently 51 years of age, and after his junior career ended in the year 1991, he played 5 years in college at the University of New Brunswick. After completing 5 years at the University of New Brunswick as a player, he left hockey to complete his master's degree in 1996 in sports management. He would return to the University of New Brunswick as the assistant coach in 1997, and in 1998, the University of New Brunswick would win the CIAU championship. In May of 2000, Carl Taylor would be named Red Deer College assistant coach for 3 seasons. In 2005, he would move to the ECHL and the Reading Royals as the director of hockey operations. The Reading Royals, under his watch, would have a record of 112, 82, and 22 in 3 seasons. All 3 of those teams would make the playoffs. In 2008, continuing to move up the rankings in the Ontario Reign, head coach for the LA Kings ECHL affiliate, their first season. In 2009, they became the Pacific Division champions of the ECHL. In 2011, he accepted the assistant coaching job with the Chicago Wolves in the AHL, one of the premier AHL hockey clubs of the last many years. In 2014, he was named the assistant coach of the Portland Winterhawks, and then he was recruited by the Texas Stars of the AHL in 2015. Now, the Texas Stars have also been one of the premier teams in the AHL in recent history. He would go on to spend 4 years with the team before becoming head coach of the Milwaukee Admirals in the 2019-2020 season. In 2019-2020, in his first year with the Milwaukee Admirals, he would be named the league's most outstanding coach, and he would also get an opportunity to coach the Nashville Predators on an emergency call-up basis on December the 17th of the year 2021, and would have a 5-2 victory over the Colorado Avalanche. So one opportunity in the NHL, one victory. Now, with the Admirals, since becoming their head coach, 2019-2020, his first season, a record of 41-14-8, a 714 winning percentage, and a division championship in the Central Division. Unfortunately, while the Milwaukee Admirals seemed to be marching straight towards a championship that season, the playoffs for the AHL had to be canceled due to the COVID outbreak. The next season for the Milwaukee Admirals was also completely canceled as the Milwaukee Admirals would combine with the Chicago Wolves. Carl Taylor would, of course, remain with the Nashville Predators organization during that season. 2021-22, when the Admirals got back on the ice, they had a record of 39, 28, and 9, finished third in the Central Division. But this caveat, very important, they won their first playoff series in over a decade by defeating the Manitoba Moose before falling to the powerhouse Chicago Wolves of the AHL last season. Now, this season with the Milwaukee Admirals, Carl Taylor currently has the Ads at 32, 18, and 5, second place in the Central Division, 1 point out of first as of the recording of this broadcast. Now, players for Carl Taylor, the Nashville Predators, they are arriving prepared and they are exceeding expectations. The Nashville Predators had some injuries throughout the season but remained relatively healthy, but seemed like each time one of these players got a call-up, they were not only prepared to fill in, but they exceeded the expectations for a call-up player in that particular opportunity. Now, as the season has progressed, the Nashville Predators have, of course, had to deal with several injuries, and now, after the trade deadline, have dealt with the trading and dismantling of several core and veteran players, leaving plenty of opportunities for young Nashville Predators prospects that have played mostly under Carl Taylor in their career. They are showing up more prepared than expected, and they are delivering the goods and exceeding expectations. Luke Evangelista is the most recent case and the most recent story, fully prepared for the NHL in his first couple of games after less than 1 full year within the AHL with Carl Taylor. Luke Evangelista has 41 points in Milwaukee this season and just scored his first 2 goals in the NHL in the Nashville Predators' most recent game. He's fully prepared to be here at this level. Tommy Novak, 26 points in the AHL, 23 points in the NHL this season. Tommy Novak is proving that he is a reliable player no matter where you put him in the lineup, first line through fourth line, give him the opportunity at center. He has shown he has the poise and professionalism to deliver the goods even at such a young age. Glass is another example. Thought of to be a project, now 24 points this season and getting first-line center opportunities. Clearly, something in his development process has clicked. There are other examples. Parsonen had 9 points in 10 games in Milwaukee, then came to the NHL and was fully prepared to take over first-line center minutes while the Nashville Predators needed, and now has 23 points at the NHL level this season. There's other examples. Leonard, Gross have had opportunities to come up, and we have seen them progressing. Afanaseyev is also progressing. He is a very young prospect for this Nashville Predators team, but most importantly, Yaroslav Askarov, the most unique personality in the entire American Hockey League, is being coached right now by Carl Taylor. The antics, the routines, the amount of fun, the character that Askarov brings to the game is only equaled by his actual skill level and play. Carl Taylor, so far in the first full season of having Askarov as his netminder, has been masterful in balancing the fun yet professionalism of being a hockey player in the Nashville Predators system. It is going to be of critical importance moving forward in this Nashville Predators franchise that someone is prepared and fully capable of handling the dynamic skill, talent, and personality of Yaroslav Askarov moving forward. Carl Taylor is already well out in front of showing that. Again, other players progressing. The Milwaukee Admirals marching towards the playoffs, and they're expected to make a long run this spring. And after Carl Taylor takes care of business in the AHL this postseason, well, and I fully expect that the Nashville Predators should promote him to the NHL level. It is going to be the most important training camp for this Nashville Predators franchise since the first training camp in franchise history. Speaking of that first camp by the Nashville Predators in their franchise history, well, it was led by Barry Trotz, the first ever head coach in Nashville Predators franchise history. And just quickly give you a little background on the first ever head coach in Nashville Predators franchise history. He finished his junior career in 1982 in Manitoba. In 1984, with the University of Manitoba, became an assistant coach. In 1985, became general manager and head coach of the Dauphin Kings. That's the team he finished playing his career with in juniors. In 1987, became the head coach of the University of Manitoba. In 1992, head coach of the Baltimore Skipjacks. That team was relocated to Portland and renamed the Pirates. And in 1994, Barry Trotz would lead the Portland Pirates to the Calder Cup Championship. He would also win the Outstanding Coach in the AHL for that season. In 1998, he would be named the first coach in Nashville Predators history at 36 years old. He would go on to coach for the Nashville Predators for 15 seasons, 1,196 games, and he would be a Jack Adams finalist. I give you Barry Trotz's background after giving you Carl Taylor's background because you can't help but notice the similarities. Neither of these players made it to the NHL, but both significantly played for large portions of their life. Both have college coaching experience. Both have scouting and operations background at junior and minor league levels. Both have AHL head coaching experience. Both have won AHL Coach of the Year. But now one has the power to give the other the opportunity. Poyle once gave that opportunity to Barry Trotz, and now Barry Trotz can give that opportunity to Carl Taylor. Nothing is guaranteed. Carl Taylor's hiring does not mean that he will coach for 15 years with the Nashville Predators or 15 years in the NHL at all. But at this moment in time, it is obvious that Carl Taylor has done the work, is prepared for the next level, has proven it with numerous examples, and should be the leader and next coach of the Nashville Predators to lead these same prospects that he already has placed in the highest level of professional hockey in North America. Let him finish the job in Milwaukee. Let the Admirals go on their run. Then it's time to promote, and it's time to let Carl Taylor have his opportunity as the next head coach of the Nashville Predators and lead the next generation through what is guaranteed to be the most significant and important training camp that the Nashville Predators have had in 25 years. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. This has been a Renegades of Puck special commentary, The Case for Call.